And yes, we're late, but that is my fault. And so welcome, everybody. It is Friday, and I have the distinct honor and pleasure of having the panel of what I'm calling the Cosmic Divine. We can't use Cosmic Coven. It's taken already. So I said, well, this is the divine. And because all of you ladies are divine, got a real cool vibe from all of you, so it's far out. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Everyone in the chat room, thank you, moderators. So good to see you. And everybody else, hello, Soul Tribe. We are here. We speak favor over you as I hit the buttons. And as you know, Nina, you know how this is. You have to drive the bus.
Yeah,
See, you know how job. This is. Y'all know how it is.
You drama at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you got to have the drama. I mean, that's what makes it fine. So favor everybody. So good to see you. Happy Friday. Prosperity, BOSTO, happy birthday, etc. Soul Tribe, Soul Tribe. Welcome, ladies. I'll see Gaia, you're on mute. She's to my left. But in reality, I don't know where she is. But anyway, Nina just popped up to my right, and that was Linda. You see how quickly this goes? And then Julianne, who 4 a.m. in the morning, way to go. And
Hi,
Jenny, yeah, I guess, what is it, 7 o'clock there?
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
So, you know, again, y'all are my reality of my future. So I get to see two beautiful souls, spirit beings. So my future is bright. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, Linda. Hey, you're good to see you. You're back. I didn't see you up there. Did I lose someone? I lost Gaia.
Yeah, Gaia left.
Yeah. Good to see you, Linda.
I've been here.
We just, it's like, well, where did everybody go? So what's up, ladies? I'll just open the floor to whoever wants to jump in. Julie, since you're like 4 a.m. in the morning, I'll let you go first because, oh, that's dedication. Thank you.
Thank you. I was on and off waking up because I don't set the alarm. I just know I'll wake up. Anyway, it was a bit earlier. I thought, oh yeah, I'll get up soon, but I had a dream. It was crazy. I thought I was outside walking, and I thought, I was getting the message, snake, and I'm going, okay, there's a snake right at the door where I'm about to go in. And then it turned into they were all black cats.
Okay.
That's how crazy it was. And I thought, oh, it's time to get up. I better get up. But that was in 5 minutes, really. 5 minutes of seeing the clock and then seeing the clock again.
That is interesting.
If you think about the snakes and the cats, there's a correlation there, you know, to the divine feminine, especially the black cat. So
there was hundreds of them.
Dark woman manifest, lady. You're a goddess in creation. You are. And so the snakes would be like the Kundalini type energy, the divine feminine aspect of that. The black cat is the wisdom that guards that sacred portal that is you, your womb. And so there's a message there for you somewhere in the divine feminine pool.
Well, I've been writing about Lilith and the Queen of Sheba at the moment.
Yeah, you know, she's visited you then. Thank you.
This is blowing my mind.
Sheba and Shiva, because it's the similar. They're both the same. But anyway,
Sheba is a cat food here too. It's a big cat food. Sheba, the cat is called Sheba.
It is.
There's dots and connections all the way through that for you with your words. So yeah,
that's hilarious.
You're
hilarious
there.
And how interesting with Lilith. I mean, I have had numerous conversations, spoke to a couple yesterday, earlier this week, and several things coming out. Lilith, individuals experiencing a Kundalini, what they call something, as one person said, it just rolled them away. seems like the divine feminine is everywhere. And Joules, the whole idea of the serpent, that's really profound. And it was on your doorstep, on your doorway out or in?
Well, as I was outside and I got the message in the dream, watch for the snake. And I'm thinking, there's no snake. Next minute, here it is sitting there, all just curled up. But as I got closer, they just became hundreds of black cats, and they went up on the wall, and I went, holy dooly, that's a lot of cats. I went inside, and then of course I woke up to get up to come on here.
There was
We were driving yesterday, and there was a black, and we have it's called a red belly black snake we have here in Queensland, and it was dead on the side of the road. But you just know, you're driving along and go, oh, there's a snake. It looks like it's in the crack of a road, because I don't see too many in our yard, only carpet pythons. But this red belly black snake was there, so that was probably the start of it. Seeing snakes in my dream.
Well, I also believe that the spirits talk to us. Let's talk about that. Hundreds of black cats. That's for me, it's very, I can see a lot in that. What says the panel?
I got to say, too, that I have experienced a lot of cats in my dreams. And just a couple of days ago, there was a kitten I was playing with. Don't know what the kitten was all about. So, yeah, something about cats. I don't know what that means. I will have to research that now.
I'll find the card. I'll
Jen
just
can tell us.
talk amongst yourself. I'll get a card.
Yeah, let's get the cards. Let's see what the cards have to say. I mean, this is interesting. Gaia, how do you see this? I want to see it from your point of view.
I have noticed the difference in my cats. I'm literally talking to them one-on-one, just literally, like, my cat got is his name, the male, he got a tick in his ear, but he's kind of feral, he's kind of wild, he's a little wildling. He came to the door, he stood there, he started purring, and he said to me, Paul can't even touch him. Can you get this thing out of my ear? And I'm like, okay, well, you gonna let me touch you? And he did. He laid on. He just laid there, pulled the tip, put medicine there. He told me. I wouldn't have.
I love this.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I had been around animals, coming out of the womb. And never.
Not me.
Yeah, right. No, I know, but it was real. I came into Paul and I said, I swear to God, I'm having a full-on conversation. Now, I can talk to the horses and everything. What I mean by that is not talking. It's a frequency.
Yeah.
Communicate.
Like the trees talk to me.
Yes, exactly. But this was full on talking.
Yeah. Wow.
So on the bottom of the deck, before I did anything there, I didn't even touch this deck. I just went to get it. You see the black cat here in front of the queen.
Yeah.
So that's the pussy. That's where it's derived from now, and it's used in a derogatory way, obviously, for the portal that is the sacred portal of the divine feminine. And that black cat is guarding. You see how the Queen of Wands has her legs open?
Yeah.
And so she's ready to receive, and she's fruitful, and the flower of a sunflower is peace. So she's in a peaceful state, and she's ready for entry, and this pussy is there to protect said pussy, in that it lets it be known that this is the dark woman manifest. It's a sacred space. And so actually that word that's used in a derogatory term today many times is actually in tarot a very sacred term of the symbolism of what your divine femininity is in its physical form and in its spiritual form, i.e. that womb is a portal to grab stardust and literally have that stardust be sitting there waiting to receive the spark of life, the wand here, the fire, the sperm. And so it's creation story in of itself, and it's a blank canvas because it's a black cat. So like Manly
Yeah.
Hall says, you know, you only see the stars because it's a black canvas of divine feminine, and then you can only see the sparkly, beautiful, divine masculine stars because of that black canvas. That's how Manly P. Hall puts it. So it's a
Bingo.
very, very, very strong dream.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Thank you.
huge dream for me. I mean, I'm seeing the relevance, number one, of the cats themselves as they divided. That is the divine feminine in full manifestation.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yesterday we were doing a lot of manifestation down the street because we had a chamber meeting with all business people, and we were not officially invited because we were just the community, but us women, there was a few of us that went there, and they ended up letting us speak. It wasn't me, another woman, after the flood. So then we were given all these donuts from the vets. The Vietnam vets were cooking donuts for everyone. And all we kept saying is, we'll eat the holes, thank you. We're not eating the pastry. Anyway, then I said, I'll take all of these that you've made and I'll walk down the street and give them to everybody that's down the street that's still cleaning up after the flood. So we were making these connections with all the men and making jokes about it, and it was just a lovely connection. And we've been putting out that we want to have a space for everyone to just come freely, and all the women or whoever can do certain different energy work. And we've been putting it out where we were going to go to, and it was going to be the old Freemasons Hotel is what we were thinking about. Anyway, we goes down and we're in this arcade, and the guy that's part of the one that not owns but has a share in the hotel also is in this arcade, and he's there. And we go to him and we say, look, I know one of us girls come and spoke to you about having that building for a community centre. He says, oh yeah, it's just too much. And I said, look, do you know where we can have another one just to give to, so we can give to the community? And he goes, well, there's upstairs here that hasn't been let for 5 years. And we said, look, we've got all the people that can help clean up and do all of that. So I think we manifested that space.
Fantastic. Wow.
And for nothing, like not paying any rent, that's because he said we haven't rented it for 5 years. So we said we're giving this to the community because there's going to be so many needing some assistance, you know, as what's been going on. It's not just that, but to just give to the community as we go through this process. They can come in and feel nurtured, you know, because there's a lot of us that have connected now through many ways that have all got different abilities in the healing. Well, I don't call us healers, we're conduits, because we just allow them to come in. And I've had 2 ladies this week come from another community on this massage table where I'm sitting and done some amazing, the 2 of us, because Colleen works on their feet and I work wherever else I'm guided to. And they've had amazing releases.
This is interesting because it's to me, I'm interpreting this as, you know, in the world today, we're hearing the proclamation that the New World Order has now been officially announced.
Mhm.
And, you know, so what the powers to be supposedly are saying, well, there's a change. That's a change in your community, that you have an individual who owns a building who says, here, yeah, go ahead and use it. And the tremendous work that you'll be doing, I have no doubt, will radiate out. That's what energy does.
Well,
that's a profound change.
Yeah, well, on the radio, I don't listen to the radio because it's the noise. It's just, I haven't listened for a long time. Anyway, Colleen was driving into town the other day to go to another healing thing. They've been doing it for they're going to do it for 3 weeks in the Civic Centre. And on the radio, there was a numerologist. And because he asked her about Gimpy or what the number was, and she said, actually, it's the Christ consciousness number is where Gimpy is, and they rise from everything all the time. And I've also heard from another person who there's a crystal city under our town. So I've known through all my life that it's a special town, but we've been through some horrendous things. We were called Helltown for a long time, but it's because of the powerful energy and the quartz that's under our town that's and everyone's moving here, and the prices of bloody
So that's
land's
under-
gone through the roof.
That's what's underneath the earth where you are, is crystals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say that was probably a, intensity ley line, they used to say, and the crossroads. I mean, having that much crystalline underneath you, that's like sitting on top of this 50 billion megawatt,
In the Kabi tradition, the Aboriginal, they class this as the creation point from the Pleiades. One of the sisters come down supposedly, and when I went to that pyramid, because they've knocked the pyramid down and put in a highway over it, and we know that the waters that we've just had, we knew that was coming because it had to expose stuff. So even though we knew at the beginning of the year, a lot of us, we said, we know this big flood's coming, because it has to stop them from doing what they were doing, because there's thorium under there, and that's what's paying for the road supposedly. And truckloads and truckloads of stuff were going out. So they're actually mining it. And there's a lot of, what other things? There's artifacts that they're probably finding it. They don't want us to know, because we weren't allowed to go anywhere near that site. But when I first went there, I got the message that I seeded here when I left the pyramid the first time I went. So I'm doing a lot of tracing back that.
Interesting.
Anyway, everyone else can talk now.
So, Jennifer, did you pull a card?
I did, yeah. I'm just looking at the chat. Bill Bennett, please check out my video that I've set to go out after this, because it talks about what he's talking about. It says
what? I didn't see the chat room.
Bill Bennett, sorry, he says, so hear me out. Wings and halos is a visual of an awakened person's magnetic aura. And the video I've just done to set to go out after this explains a lot of that. So yes, right. So just in case, but for you, look, just trees, so the two of one.
Is there a theme going on here?
You see the world in the hands here, the two of ones. So the two of ones is initiate an idea. So basically you've just told yourself your own reading as you were talking before there. So I pulled them out, then you continued to speak and you spoke it out in that initiating ideas, looking, the world not overwhelming you holding the world in your hands, i.e. your world, and anybody's invited in your world if they want to come and join in with the plans and be fruitful with it. And so again, to the one world order system, well, yeah, if that's the case, then we'll just channel our individual one worlds, that can join together when they like. But you're taking the path of saying, but well, regardless, you can put whatever label on it you like. This is my world, and it's a one world, and I'm at one with myself. So it's a one world, and I'm initiating ideas. So you just turn it around on them, flip it around.
Yeah. Well, that's how I flip everything all the time.
With love, So that major arcana, hangman, you see how he's hanging upside down here, very much the world position card in the major arcana, that's the world, but he's bringing his mind consciousness down into the dark womb. He's hiding it underneath the foliage to be in the darkness, because that's where enlightenment can come. It can be seen a lot more clearly, and it can be initiated then when he turns back around the other way. But you looked at things from a different perspective. Instead of being frightened about it being a Freemasonry hole, you're like, get on. They'll have all the symbology in there that I can use for good intent.
That's right.
That's the kind of thing that you've been thinking. So you're thinking outside of the box. There you go, you see, wearing it. And so instead of being frightened of things, you're willing to go into the dark, what some people would perceive as the terribly dark, and say, well, that's one of my symbols. That's one of my symbols. Yeah, they're yours too, but that's one of mine too. I can use that for this for that. And and for different intent. So, but there's a buildup of energy in that space. So you're going to use it. It's energy. So and they know what they're doing. So, you just use their circles, triangles, and squares for different intent, but they've built it up for you. Now, the next card is the Four of Wands. And so this would speak to the home, bringing it back home, creating a safe space at home, creating a community, doing it in a balanced way. And look, it's a replica of the first card with the Two of Wands here. So you've got a 6 then, 6 being 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, a person. I.e., you're bringing your personality, your essence to the space that you're living in, and it's a beautiful thing. And the upside down feminine energy of the Queen of Swords on the bottom of the deck would speak to your coming up against what has been a perceived negative divine feminine energy, and you walked into that very masculine space and you actually got your friend to be able to speak. That's turning their perception the right way up. That's turning and it's bringing your power back too. So that was a huge thing for you to have done, and I don't know if everybody caught that, but that was a huge thing for you to be able to enter into that masculine space without fighting, without protesting, just injecting your divine femininity into it and actually having a platform to speak in.
We also then, as we're walking back up the street, all in lightening up the street, but feeling lighter ourselves from what we just achieved, I did use the word pussy.
Yeah, you see, you got to own that. I will make you up a song.
Synchronicities and what's going on here today is off the chart, off the freaking chart.
What did I do?
Wow.
The power of the pussy, I said, actually, the power of the pussy.
Yeah, I mean, wow. And by the way, as I was a kid, didn't they have a cartoon called Josie and the Pussycats?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were all girls, right?
Yes.
And they used magic. Actually, they used music, but the music was the magic.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat.
True.
Felix. And Felix means fun and joy, I think. I've looked that up.
All right, a little bit other wow, just sitting here going, holy crap. Nina, Linda, Gaia, what are y'all feeling? This is freaking amazing.
Well, there's definitely something about the animals and the cats in particular.
By the way, I just want to say, does everyone notice the black and red thing going on here? I'm just saying.
Yeah, black cats. Yeah,
Well,
no,
you have black and red. Jenny has black and red.
Yeah.
I have. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Go ahead, there, Nina.
Yeah. So when you look at ancient Egypt, the cats were, honored, right? That was a sacred animal, and it's kind of funny how they're, like this been coming up a lot for me. Like I've met cats in the astral, and then a couple of weeks or like 6 weeks later, it shows up on my doorstep. This was like a white fluffy cat. This was last year. Now they're showing up black, and a couple of days ago it was like a kitten. So I don't know. Yeah, there's a message here with the cats for sure. Yeah. So.
No, this is significant. I was reading, and by the way, everyone, we'll be covering this book, everyone, so you can see Manly P. Hall's on magic ethics.
Right.
But it's the cat. The cat in Egypt was the divine feminine. It was the goddess.
Yes, it's ancient divine feminine energy resurging. They've brought back ancient things. Well, with that comes ancient other things that they've maybe used centuries and centuries and centuries to downtrodden. And that's why there's been such we had it, this whole tribe had it, with the divine feminine and the group being attacked one way or the other by very masculine, narcissistic, low vibration energies. And so that was a heads up, that was a clue. I knew what was coming. I was like, oh yeah, Lilith is coming through. So is Isis, so is Anana, so and the list went on, and I was like, yeah, I can see what's happening here. So I just had to reflect that in my life and stand up to some masculine energies. Loads of other people in this tribe did, and that we actually hit it early. It's hitting everybody else now, as far as people coming to me with similar attacks or similar nastiness from a lot of masculine energy. So we're actually hitting it early, which is a great sign to me. But it's coming through. The waters above and below it's coming through, and so are other things. But you know, this ancient divine feminine energy it's intense, it's orgasmic, it's intense, it is I think it's a representation of femininity that will put the living daylights of fear in those that would want to harm it, and also the living the Jesus of exhilaration, you know, in those that want to harness it. Do you know what I mean?
It is exhilarating.
You can't even think of the words. It's ineffable. You can't even describe it really for me. I've been up and down, not sleeping, and, you know, just excited, looking at the moon, clapping it on. Oh, it's coming. It's coming home. You know, like it's a big loop that's come round, and it's like, yeah, told you the
Introduced to a name it was last night in one of my dreams, Diana. She wanted to.
Yep.
Same. Yeah, and I know who she is. I mean, she's a representation of Lilith anyway, but she is another aspect of Lilith in what Lilith is. So, and I'm not even really familiar with Diana, but that's what came to me. Pardon?
Yeah.
What's that, Linda? What? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's Artemis. I'm actually very familiar with Artemis. I am a fractal of Artemis, actually. I've been told that by many different seers, and I didn't believe it until I was in Sedona, and this lady that does the drumming circle, she's Native American, and she walked up and she said, "Do you know who you are?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm Linda." She said, "No." She said, "I see your quiver and your bow on your back." And I said, "Okay." And she goes, "You are a fractal of Artemis." She said, "You have a big purpose here, and I don't know what it is, but you really, really need to start looking into that." And so I actually started studying Artemis very deeply. And Artemis, a lot of people think that all these other deities, like I'm not no disrespect, but Lilith actually came from Artemis. Artemis was the actually beginning deity. You can trace it back through. There's several dissertation papers with archaeological facts and all these different religions and everything. She was the original deity, and like Bridget and all the other deities kind of fractaled out, like came out of her in the different religions. And her and Lilith are it's kind of like the mother maiden crone type thing. Like her and Lilith are very, very, very connected. So my best friend that I just met online a couple of years ago, we're really, really close, and she is a fractal of Lilith. And we've actually been looking for our third person. We know there's another part of our triple goddess out there that we haven't found yet. We've seen her in our dreams and visions and channeling, but we haven't quite located her yet. So
Excellent. Wow.
If you look at how she's
I wanted
spelled,
to bring up Diana. This is interesting. So Paul and I, do archery, and Paul's learning to be an instructor. It's here on the land, and people come, and there's an archery area down here on the land. It's intuitive archery. And he was gifted a beautiful bow from one of the students, and we've had it here in the home, looking at it, touching it, talking with it, because you name your bow when you get it, and Diana kept coming up. Diana kept coming up over and over and over, and I'm saying to Paul, wow, that's unusual. Wow, and I'm telling you, it was so strong. So we both looked at each other and laughed and said, we'll sleep on it. That was 2 days ago. Now we've had this bow for like, I'd say a month, Diana. And I wouldn't have thought of that, as in this realm. Guess what her name is? Diana. I love it.
and the bow.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And Artemis, you're right, Linda. Diana is Artemis. I mean, depends on which pantheon that is brought. I contend that it's Artemis who adorns the U.S. Capitol building, and but yeah, wow.
You look at the way it's spelt. If it's A-R-T, is it E-M-U? How is it exactly spelt? Artemis?
I believe that is correct.
A-R-T-E-M-I-S.
A-R-T-E-M-U-S?
I-S.
I-S.
Okay, well, anyway, you look at the first three letters is art, which that's creativity. E-M is, in Hebrew, is mother.
Ooh.
And then it just is, or because I wrote it with us, but it just is. So it's just telling you that the mother is art, and that's creativity.
Wow. Manly P. Hall states that the divine feminine, if you want to say the creation of everything, comes from the womb. The womb is actually the womb of darkness. And from the womb of darkness, we identify our individual lights. And from the womb and from darkness, only light can be emitted. So this is very timely. And again, it all centers around to this awareness of the divine mother. I think that would be appropriate.
Yeah. And it's just with that Artemis, I had to double check just to make sure I was remembering it right, but she is the bow, the bow and arrow, how it's curved like a moon. She's of the moon, and so she has the bow and arrow. It says she's of the crossroads of the hunters and of the moon. Yeah, exactly. So the
what
moon
is that? Who's holding that? Is that Nina?
So this
Diana.
is Diana.
Say something.
I went and
Okay.
grabbed my goddess deck here because I wanted to see what Diana. So Diana is focused intention. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your target, and you will make your mark.
Well, she came to me last night. There's another thing going on. How freaking spot on that is. So Nina, you get a good high five, and when we meet, I buy the first cup. So
Diana.
oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that would be what I would think that would yeah. Wow. What kind of wood is that?
I don't know yet. It's pretty old bow. We had to have it specially strung.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But it was
Whoa.
given, it was a gift. It was a gift, and it's amazing. So this is all connected.
So Nina, show that again.
Yeah.
The card.
Love
And
it.
where'd you go? Oh.
I love that deck, by the way.
Yeah, the goddess deck. You guys can ask for that next time.
Beautiful.
Wow. Excuse me.
So
That's
focus
great.
attention, yeah. Then I happen to have, because Julie was mentioning Kali, beginnings, endings and beginnings. So something new is coming for you around the corner for sure.
If you look at that word also, Kali is Kelly Foss and Kelly Murr, which is the salts of the earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you look at everything as just elements, and the periodic table in that world as well, because it is elementary, dear Watson.
Well, and I think that the sacred scripture says that he who loses his saltiness, what value is he?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that crystalline thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's all to do with that. I mean, when you've got different issues, there is the 12 salts that you can, I had a spur in the heel, and I, used the salts for that. So, that's balancing out your body if you're lacking in certain salts.
And who is that, Nina?
This is Artemis, guardian.
Oh, let's see.
Let's see it.
You and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected.
Yep.
There's the deer. See the
Oh.
deer on there? I'm also dancing deer, my Native American name. It's all connected. And my clan is the Doe clan. So, and I have doe eyes. I've always been told I had doe eyes, and I never associated anything until my shaman just popped up in my store out of the blue and asked me if I knew that I was a Chickamauga Cherokee. And I'm like, well, I know my father's got Cherokee. And he goes, no, you're Chickamauga Cherokee. Your facial features. And he said, your name is, he's like telling me your name is Dancing Deer. I see the deer here and 3 deer on this side dancing gracefully through adversity. And he's like, you've had a lot of adversity in your life, but I see your blue aura coming up and it's shining into the heavens. So your blessings are coming. And he was like, that's why you have the doe eyes, because you are the dancing deer. And then, I mean, it's just been a crazy ride the last like 6 years, 7 years. With people just come out of the woodwork. They're messaging me things about myself that they shouldn't know, and then telling me things, and then I get later confirmation. Like you're talking about the cats. I have an allergy to cats, and I love cats, and I've raised many cats that their mothers got killed, and I raised them and suffered through the allergies. But I was at my aunt's when I came back home to North Carolina, and she had this litter of kittens with a feral cat, and none of the cats would go to anybody but me. They would come to me and I would feed them. And one of them, he would literally jump up in my lap and ride on my shoulders. I named him Leo, and he would climb the screen at the house trying to get in. And if we were in the kitchen talking, he would be outside the window walking around, and he's just talking to me. I mean, I could look in his face and I swear there was like his soul and consciousness was like trying to giving me messages. Like, you know, I had never experienced that before. And the other night, we have no animals at our house but my dog. And last night, after the same, you had your dream last night. Last night we went out and there were 3 cats sitting on my wall. Like we backed the truck up and you could see their eyes shining. And I was like, when did we get cats here? Like, we've not had any cats here. So now they're starting to come to my house here. So that might tie into what's going on with you, Julia. My neighbor had the black snake in her yard yesterday. She called me and wanted me to snake wrangle because she's like, didn't you tell me you used to remove snakes for people? And I was like, yeah. She said, we have some kind of huge black snake over here. So I actually went over there and got the snake and put it back out and took it way out in the woods. And I was like, the snake, you really need the snake here. It really like protects your home. And she's like, yeah, but I can't have it right here near my, it's giving me, she couldn't even come out the door. So I've had the snakes and the cats going on over here too.
Our house has got right under our front porch for, I guess the last 12 years. We have about 40 snakes, big snake den that's there. And they're, Western terrestrial gopher snakes. And we don't have any problem with critters. I mean,
Right.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
I'm noticing the bow and arrow again in the Artemis card as well. That seems to be popping up.
I'm noticing as well. Is that a fire that she has there?
Yeah, there's a bonfire and there's a deer up behind her there, and she's got a bow and arrow. And to me, I'm just getting be on guard. Be on guard, I think, is a common message here with all these deities.
Well, she has that bow drawed, right?
She does.
Yeah.
She's on guard for sure.
I mean, you don't draw a bow unless you're in a defensive position or attacking.
Yeah, and you notice the deer's not worried about it.
No.
The deer's not worried. Normally, the animals would flee if they saw you, but no, it's also watching to see what we're doing. So interesting, very interesting.
The deer standing behind saying, yeah, it's you this time, so-and-so.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're actually pulled her chariot, Artemis. That was what she had those gifted to her. So they pulled her chariot.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's got that attitude like, bring it on.
Yeah.
Try me. Please. Well, the symbology of today's, it's just
Amazing.
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought Diane? I mean, when Diana, it's like, that's a name that I don't typically think of.
Neither.
Yeah. The cats, particularly the black cats, the snakes, the black snake. I mean, these are all significant. There's great symbolism taking place. Now, I think it may be because we're studying, it could be because of what we project out here, with Manly P. Hall and his book on, the cultism of the anatomy of man, that everything around us is symbols. We're ruled by symbols.
It says that in the Bible at the end, you'll know them by their symbols and their signs and symbols. Well, that's what that is. Logos, all the stuff that we're looking at. Yeah.
We're all made up of signs and symbols. Like literally, we've got a horoscope sign. You know, we're born within that sign, and then we've got alchemy in us. So we've got all of these different signs for those different alchemical compounds.
Let's talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up, Jenny. So the one thing I got from Manley's book here, The Occult Anatomy of Man, was this issue of this secretion that the normal person cannot see, but it's very obvious that there are glands within us that apparently emit a substance that can in fact be harnessed. What's your take on that? Because I find that very compelling.
It's very powerful. Are you talking about imploding?
Yeah.
Imploding.
Yeah.
Yes. If you're with a man that can do that, get to the point of an orgasmic state, but actually you're channeling Kundalini energy at that point. And with that Kundalini energy, you can train yourself to get to the point to have the physical substance shoot up and reabsorb. Well, that substance is the source of life. It's a spark. It's a spark of inspiration. It's got nutrients in, it's strong, it's new, it's life-giving, it's rejuvenating. You know, there are many things in that substance, that secretion, that would say it is good for the skin. You know, there's lots of things in it that are very good for the body. And so you exchanging it with yourself, unless you want to impregnate somebody, you doing that with yourself is like
is that sending it back up the spine?
It sends it back up the spine with the Kundalini energy. It's like a rod of lightning going up the spine. So you can imagine if you're doing that during the sacred practice with yourself or somebody else, the Kundalini force within that is immense. It's immense, which is why I don't think it's that easy to do. I think the body naturally makes it difficult for a man, that he has to slowly work at it, because people who run into Kundalini energy straight away, like, oh, I want to do that, you know, and they're not ready for it. They haven't done the processes beforehand, the breath work, the meditation, the building up to it. Then you can go a little bit crazy of Kundalini energy or get a bit addicted to it and not use it in its best balanced way. So I think it's actually a protection mechanism for young men and older men, that they would have to work at it and really like go into the gym every day, challenge themselves to be able to do so. But it's very good for the prostate too.
It's I know a few men that do the semen retention practice, and for spiritual reasons as well as physical, you know. So there is definitely something to the whole semen retention, if men could. And that's another lie that men have been told, you know, you gotta have to, you know, expel it all the time before you expel it.
Or something. Yeah,
which is not, matter of fact. You know, and that's why they tell boxers and whatever not to have, you know, sex the night before. You want that energy, right?
Yep.
So, yeah.
The athletes, they don't want them doing it.
No, they don't. No. Yeah. You need that. That's why they get tired. Men fall asleep right away afterwards, right? So.
I'm just the male representative of the conversation. You know, it's like, I really don't know what the hell's going on here, but anyway.
I was going to say, I haven't practiced it myself, obviously, for obvious reasons,
you know,
but I do know some men that do, and they do.
It's true though.
It's beneficial. Yeah. So try that.
Yeah. It's amazing. Jenny, I got to say something. Every time you come on, I am seeing you've got this bright glow right there. I just want to let you know it is profound. It's Thanks. You know, it's impacting me. It's okay. So well, you know, I'm just saying, when you say something, Jenny.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. Now you see, can the rest of y'all see that?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. It's the shine off the lamp.
Yeah.
But it is very pronounced, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. But so, and I think that the female would have the same opportunity to produce the same essences. Is that the right word?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
They're
going
not-
to out there and say we've been experimenting at my house for the last 2 years because my fiance found out when many years ago he started noticing things in women that he was with, and he was keeping a book, like writing a book about it, and he started noticing they could see things, they could hear things, they could feel things. He was like, but he felt a difference in himself where he said when he was with a woman he could actually he would feel their energy, but it was like he left his body. It wasn't him that was there. It was another part of himself that just took over and knew exactly what to do to kind of help these women get to this place. And I'm going to tell you, I've been many places. Like I've astral projected. I've saw colors. I've tasted colors. I've traveled all over the place. I've saw past lives. I started speaking light language during that time. And I've actually felt that energy and saw him physically climb inside my body. Like it was crazy. And we were one, and I could feel us as one. But we've been talking with other women and other men about this, trying to find out if they've been experiencing the same type of things, to see exactly. It's a lot to do with frequency. I know that the energy, you can feel it, you can hear it. I can hear it in my ears, but I definitely know that sexual practices, they have a lot to do with like waking up your spirit and helping you to like go to other dimensions, possibly grow your higher self and reach Kundalini experiences too. So
I think
That's
with
amazing.
men, go ahead, hon.
But again, Manly P. Hall, Linda speaks about Leo, the kitten that you mentioned earlier. But Leo being your fiance in this way, in this symbolic way, in that he speaks about the lion exploring, Leo, the masculine, exploring and awakening the goddess. So when you said he climbs in you and you can feel him, I got shivers, because it's like, well, that's what he's supposed to be doing. And so he's doing that beautifully.
He's
obviously.
entering the temple.
And you're allowing him to do that. So you've found a strength to allow him to do that, you know. So both of you have.
It was like, I mean, I had my eyes closed and I saw his arms go inside and watch his body crawl. And it didn't freak me out. I was like, oh, this is about to get real up in here, you know. I was like, and then I started seeing.
I bet it was about to get real.
Floating behind us, and he was like at the head of the ship and had like the like, it wasn't Anubis, I'm trying to think of his name, but I saw him as one of the hybrid deities from Egypt at the front of that ship, standing like sailing the ship. And then I started speaking in like this light language that we recorded me talking and trying to find out if other people had heard it, but it was crazy. And I turned golden, like a golden priestess. I had like the gold paint all over me. I could see it. It was wild, and it was real. I mean, it was like scrying. It was like I was just looking right at it. Yeah. So
Sounds completely normal to me.
He's good.
I mean, you know, just got to say, you know, that's wild. But that is truly what it is. I mean, the symbolism when you were talking, Linda, is that if most men would understand that they're entering into a temple, it's not a coitus, it's not intercourse. But if you dissect the word intercourse, it's quite interesting, because that's exactly what's happening. It's the entrance into the temple. And the priestess, the high priestess, which is you, received him. And yeah, that's where the magic starts.
Nice one.
Y'all making me blush over here. Somebody say something.
I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of YouTube channels that have, you know, a lot of women on. I don't think I've ever heard a conversation in such a manner. I mean, but there is so much symbolism to it. There's power in this. There's knowledge that if you can take that, wow, it can take you places that very few humans go to.
Yeah, call practices retention
Mhm.
instead of,
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
it
powerful.
practice
It is.
you for life. It does practice you for life in that men with the testosterone who maybe haven't channeled that kind of gymnastics, i.e. go into that gym to be able to retain. And
It requires a
hold
strong
power.
core.
Yeah.
A man has to have a good inner
But
core.
it stops them losing their temper, they can be challenged and they sort of like can breathe through it. It's like, this is nothing, you don't know what I breathed through the other night, like with breath work, I can stay relaxed here. There's less fighting, there's less
right.
which again opens up the divine feminine, because the divine feminine has to have a strength like no other to become submissive to something that is physically more powerful than her, that is entering into her. So it's a very different process from her point of view. And so when you have a man like Linda's fiance, who is willing to put in the groundwork of his inner self and knowing his self, you feel much safer. So one, the man's going to get a lot more out of it because that divine feminine is going to be relaxed in her submission and open to receive, ready to try new things, relaxing, not worrying about how she looks or how she's going to be treated, because she can just trust in this process, because this man is a master. He's ready to explore her. So both parties get so much more from it than just the excitement and the physical joy. And literally you're joining two Kundalini energies in a process where you're building up that energy. That is
You get the twin serpents.
Yeah.
With a coil.
You're four coiling up. And so that is the home. That is like finding that is enough to pierce whatever layer you're trying to get through. And so it's very powerful. If we had more balanced relationships like that.
Well, can you imagine if humanity grasped this? You would literally, we would change the course of destiny for all of humanity, because most humans
unwanted babies.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be, because you would plan that. You would be in the right timing. That's what the high priestesses used to guide, to say you're not ready to have a baby, and you're certainly not compatible to have a baby with that person. But then they would, in the same thing, say, this is your moon, come on, this is your practice now. And they would guide it. It would be a sacred process to bringing in a energy that is attached to a soul. And so it would solve that problem immediately. It would solve sexual harassment and violence problems.
It would bring balance between the male and the female. I mean, how could it not?
Sexual energy. And actually, I've talked to my sons about this, about it when they were younger. I was like, you need to learn to harness that sexual energy and focus it somewhere to. And my youngest son is a very successful young man. He's 19 years old and he's got 3 businesses. And I mean, he talks to me all the time. He calls me and he's like, Mom, I need guidance on this or that. But he has learned to harness that sexual energy, and he's directing it out. And he doesn't want to get married or have a wife right now or any of that. He just wants to co-create a better world right now. And he's like, later on down the road, when I'm really a master at this, then I'll start looking for the female that I want to, trying to find the female that I should be with to help me co-create the world that I want. So you're right, Jenny. If more men are learning how to do this, and I've never met a man before like my fiance ever, and I've been married a couple of times, and I've dated, and I've been together. It blew my mind. He actually has a whole book, and he was like, my whole mission. I've been told he's the magician. He really wants to write a book about this in depth and get it out to people and talk to men about this and women and let them know.
100% he should. 100%. Can I just say, we do need to work on my blueprint.
On your blueprint?
My blueprint of a man.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll add that to
Okay.
At least this gives us a little bit of hope, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, I'm going to add that to the list. I want that on the map. Thank you.
Linda, I think she's saying she wants you to help draw the blueprint for that man that
I
you're
want you to
kind.
let me know what he's like, what the traits are.
Yeah.
I can add the accessories,
Just send over the CAD drawing, and then Jenny, you just add the flesh to it.
That's it.
There you go.
I think that's how it works, actually, but I don't know. Well, this has been a very. Now, let me ask y'all while I still got you, because we've gone through an hour. I mean, this is just amazing. Do y'all want to come back next Friday on this as well?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is such an
Yeah, it's important.
I think it is. And,
Yeah,
I got a sense that we'll be rewarded by energies from the other side of the veil saying, yeah, I think that this, the whole thing would truly go ahead, hon.
Our quantum field source can see what we're doing, because we're radiating all of that. And that's what we got with our group that are doing stuff, because there's no, a word ego was never really much into my vocabulary. I just go, I go because I choose to go. But in the fashion of what ego represents, if everyone's equal, then you can get on and be eco instead of ego.
Ooh, I like that. And I was just thinking as well that the Andromeda 7 ladies, Lori and Teresa,
Yes.
and I mean, it's an extension. In fact, I think they were actually, one of the first that actually brought out this, format that was more of the feminine perspective than it was the male, which is refreshing.
Yeah. I got a last message here from the goddess deck, and I'll read it out here. It's basically about not giving up. So blossoming, you are just getting started, and have patience with yourself and the process, and do not give up. I think that's a good message to leave everyone with here.
Is that the lily? That's a white lily, isn't it? Is it a white lily?
And look at the feminine thing. This woman is coming out of this blossom, but it also looks like female anatomy almost.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
Yeah.
We're coming out.
Tattooed too. I've got lily tattoos as well.
And look at that lily and Lilith. Lily.
Yeah.
Indeed.
We're coming back, people.
Thanks,
The goddess is coming back.
Yes,
Agreed.
Wow. It's like the lotus flower. It has that same type of draw.
And it comes out of the dark. You put that seed in the dark, murky water, and guess what? This beautiful flower comes out.
It is beautiful. And it smells divine. Oh my God. I've got some drying here. Oh my God, they smell so good.
So here we go. We start with the heavy synchronicities and we exit with even heavier. So interesting. Always leave them wanting more, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much, ladies. And Wayne.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the bust. I like y'all up the front because number one, y'all smell good, but two, it's just more lovely conversation. That's all I got to say. I mean, some of the guys that get on the bus, I mean, come on, dudes. I mean, so anyway, I'm kidding. No, I'm serious.
Well, they got their homework to do now, but that's okay.
And then they know what to do now, Wayne.
Yeah.
They know what to do now.
Guys, if you have the hate mail, just simply send it to
send it to me.
Yeah.
Send it to her.
Judy will just say love.
Get it over there. Woo! What a show, man. I just gotta say, ladies, this is just phenomenal. Thank you. Wow. Do y'all want to say something before we leave? Ninny, you have your show on Sunday. Who's your guest?
We got Bill Duvendak with some astrology forecasts, so you don't want to miss that. Yeah, it's very good.
Excellent. Julie, you'll be on tonight, I guess, with the Drama 7 ladies.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Oh, and Linda as well.
Oh, cool. Great.
Wow, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Jenny, Gaia, thank you both, beautiful ladies.
I love being here. This is fun. This is important and fun.
We're breaking some
I think so too.
And as they would say, we're tipping some cows here.
Mm-hmm.
And if y'all never done any cow tipping, it's kind of weird. it's cruel, but it really does happen. I mean, you know.
Thank you all
Hey.
for your gifts and talents.
Indeed.
Thank you, Jules.
Watching.
Thank you.
By the way, Gaia,
Yeah.
the only time I've ever been able to talk to the cows where I heard them, I had consumed about 4 of their mushrooms, and they do talk.
Of course.
That's no bullshit, folks. They do talk. They do.
Conversation opener.
So that's all I got to say.
Oh,
I caught that. I caught that. Wow. How clever. Way to go, Steiger.
Yeah.
Man, you
Right.
are.
All right, Soul Tribe. Everybody else, thank you, moderators. I'll have
Much
to go back and
love.
look at the
Much
chat
love.
room. I didn't see it all during the whole show. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure to support these things. No bullshit. I mean,
Don't forget.
for sure. All right, folks. We'll see you when we see you again. All right. Bye-bye.
Love you all.